This is the Wandering Mike.
Welcome everyone to the Wandering Mike. Today I'm here with Rachel. Hey Rachel, how's it going?
Hi, Mike. Pretty weird. How are you?
I'm scared. That's what we aim to be here. Weird.
Oh, good. Is that why I'm here? I'll fit right in
Wonderful. No, we're gonna have a great conversation.
compared
living-
to all the other great conversations we've ever had.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So we're just gonna do what we normally do. The difference is no one out there knows you. So if you just want to start to give to people a little insight into who is Rachel? What's your life been like? What's your journey? Anything you want to share to introduce yourself?
You could have told me this earlier, and then I could have had a pre-planned response, which sounded absolutely amazing. But instead, I'm Rachel, no last name. I'm very mysterious. I'm 28 as of a couple days ago-ish. Yeah. And I am a child of the world, if you will. My father's a soldier, so I've been traveling around since I was very young. Mother's a nurse, so all very blue-collar jobs in my family, which then led me to become blue-collar when I was working for the police. And then I decided I'm not going to do that anymore. So I dumped my boyfriend, sold my stuff, quit my job, and I moved to Austria and got qualified as an instructor. And since then, I've been traveling as and when I please.
Very nice.
And my personality shines through with everything I say, so I don't think I need to tell you a lot about that.
Well, I'm very happy you didn't prepare that because that's not what the podcast should be. Podcast should just be.
Well, I don't know. I told you, I subscribed. I have not listened to a single episode. I'm saving them for when I'm traveling.
That's the part everyone should focus on.
The traveling?
Not that you didn't listen to them.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Just subscribe. You can listen to them as and when you want. I'm one of those people that like to, when you drive places,
Yeah.
I like someone talking to me.
Right.
Unless I'm in a sing-songy mood, but that's normally when my sister's in the car, and then we're like belting Carrie Underwood because her boyfriend dumped her and he said I could swear, right?
Yes.
He was an asshole. So yeah, it's more for like drives by myself that I prefer a podcast,
Yeah, I kind of.
or George Ezra.
Sure. He has a great voice.
He does, and it's very soothing.
Is he the
'Cause it's not
the Budapest guy, right?
Yeah. It's perfect for like driving through hills and mountains, which is where I tend to drive because I don't do towns or cities. I tried driving in a city. It doesn't go well. I end up with backseat drivers and I'm just like, please can't you drive? And then no, because you volunteered to go pick them up from a concert. Yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
Also, you always choose to live everywhere that has mountains. So that's part of it too, right?
Yeah. So like from a young age growing up in like army camps and stuff, I'd never really gone to cities because they never came up. And of course your parents don't want to take you to the city. They want to take you to nature so you can breathe in that air and stuff. So like living in Germany, what? Hey? Hey.
In Detmold.
In Detmold, yeah, the place that you didn't know existed until I told you about it, even though it's your freaking country. Living in Detmold, never been to a city. Living in Canada, I drove past Calgary to get to the Rocky Mountains.
Right.
And I was looking at it, and that's like the first proper city that I ever remember seeing with my little childlike wonder brain. And it had like, you know anything about Calgary?
Not too much.
Okay, so they've got a couple of distinct landmarks. One of them's being like this really cool tower which points up and it's super tall and there's a spinning restaurant in it. And I always imagined that if I ever won the lottery, I'd go there in like one of those slinky cocktail glasses and the furry coat thingy. That's when I later found out that they're a bit tacky, but hey, the Saddle Dome, which is like a famous hockey arena, which I did get to go to. But yeah, that was my first look at a city. Never lived in one, never will. I like traveling to Japan, landing in Tokyo, everything was very tall and very overwhelming for me. Because again, country bumpkin. Well, not bumpkin. Country lounger.
So
Mountains are tall enough, but they're open. Cities, they're tall, but like crowded. So you have trouble looking up,
Yeah.
So you look up and there's only like a square bit of sky.
Right.
For me, that's no fun.
That's fair. I was trying to think, but I guess you wouldn't call Queenstown a city. It's too small for that.
No.
You're allowed to swear.
I know, but I'm trying to be a good. I don't know who listens to this. You could have small people.
Millions of people listen to this.
Of course, I know, very famous. But I'm thinking if you have like little Timmy from
Right.
Nova Scotia or wherever the name Timmy came from, you don't want him learning the word fuck from Rachel. Because then it
Exactly.
has a distinctive accent. And then his mum will be able to find.
Right.
Mothers are scary.
So, Tim, if you just heard that word that Rachel said, don't repeat it.
Yeah, there's a word that I've been told that I'm definitely not allowed to say.
Yeah, we're not going to go.
But I'm thinking about that word constantly because I'm keeping thinking, don't say that word, don't say that. I almost said it then. You'd have to blur me out.
I will. But you're not going to say the word, right?
No. Boring.
All right. Well, we already went all over the place.
My brain is very scattered on a good day.
No, but that's good. Because I also don't want to have these conversations scripted at all. But also,
You only sound like a robot. You're not actually one.
who knows?
If you were a robot this entire time, that would explain why you sleep like the dead.
Why wouldn't I be a robot?
Don't. I'm not.
No, I'm not trying to fuck
dealing with
you.
this today. Okay, I'm leaving in a couple days. I need to know that you still have your humanity. Otherwise, I'll never return to New Zealand. Because then, robot uprising. And this is a nice town. You could probably get away with like killing a lot of people and then like sending clone robots out to where they go because it's a tourist town.
Exactly.
Come here, build replacements, photocopy their face, like Joker style, peel it off, put it on, send them home. No, but not for a while.
I like that. So,
Don't take notes. Don't make it weird. Weirder.
No, I'm actually human, but anyone who just listened to us and they want to have a robot invasion, just know that Queenstown.
00010000011.
Did you just say kill all humans? Let's go.
Well, you're the robot. Key brick.
Yes. So how do we go from robot, or rather,
To T?
iRobot, not T?
I can't really remember that movie. I just remember Will Smith was mad.
Is he mad?
Yeah, there was a kid. The kid died, and he was like all mad because he was like, "It should have been me."
Right. Yeah, because he's fighting the robots.
No, yeah, no, kinda. I
Is he
can't
not?
remember.
Maybe I was too young when that movie came out. I Am
We're the
Legend.
same age, and I know it. I Am Legend
That's
is
a sad
so.
movie.
Oh, I loved it. I did not realize until like the second time I watched it though that the dog was a girl. It's called Sam. Sam?
I think it was Sam. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, "Oh, he's a handsome boy." And then I found out in the second one when he was going, "You're a good girl," when he's traumatizing us all when he shoots it.
Spoiler for anyone
The
who.
movie's been out for fucking long enough. Do
Yeah.
you think they can hear me slipping?
No,
That was a little bumpy
a
bump.
little bit. But probably be removed.
It's my no. It's my English ASMR.
All right.
Some guy's gonna get off on that.
Probably. Maybe I'm gonna cut it out.
Why would you want to cut me like that so deep? That could be my rise to fame. That could be like what I need to become a voice actor.
No, I'm just
No
saying.
one would want this accent on anything.
I'm just saying seriously. The slur probably won't pick up because after the audio edits,
But now we're
it's been so
talking
low.
about it, so it's a conversation, so it gets to stay in. In which case, you can like put the volume up at that particular
just
time.
for the slur.
Just for the slur.
I might do that.
The only York people want to hear on TV is like Sean Bean, which is fair.
Who?
Sean Bean.
Oh yeah, the guy from Lord of the Rings.
Oh my gosh.
No, I just didn't understand you the
Sean
first
Bean,
time.
Game of Thrones. No matter what he does, it's tragically awesome, and he dies too soon. Except from when he does the Yorkshire Tea ads. Yorkshire Tea sponsoring this ad. This episode.
But
whatever.
that's true.
They might send me tea.
Any role he does, he always gets killed.
I
That's
know.
kind of sad.
But it's always like in like an honorable way. He needs to
Yeah.
like be a villain. I need to see him as a villain. I think it'd be quite dope.
But then
But you don't need to know he's a villain. He's one of like the surprise twist. Like, in Lord of the Rings where he gets corrupted by the ring? What if he gets willingly corrupted by the ring?
Right.
Sean Bean, you can contact me, you know. We can work on this role. I'm just using you to get famous now.
That's fair.
I am the star.
You are the star.
Well, at least of this episode.
Well, I reckon people want to know more about the star. So I'm trying to ask questions here.
Oh, and then I'm just getting distracted and going on tangent.
No, but that's fine.
You've got me
Just-
talking. You've got me talking for like maybe 2 hours now. You're going to end up with too much audio. I was going to say footage, but don't video me. I need a shower.
No, it's just audio.
I'm
But-
not dirty. It's just it's hair wash day. The ladies that listen to you will know what I mean. You don't.
Well,
have
I
hair.
don't know what
You
it
don't
means.
have hair. You don't have
don't-
hair wash day.
I
You
don't,
have
I don't get that
soap on the
reference.
scalp day. You should use shampoo for your beard though. It's better for your skin compared to like using body wash. Because I know boys who just use the 3-in-1 bullshit. 3-in-1 is shocking. Get yourselves together. Buy more stuff.
But yeah, that's
Who
kind
was
of the
the Asian
thing.
lass that went, "This brings me joy"?
I don't know if I know who you're talking about.
Okay, she was like that. Again, tangent here. So this Asian lass, she was like, okay, for clean and healthy home, what you need to do is look at something and decide, do I need this? Does it bring me joy? If it doesn't bring me joy, it goes. And her house is naked, which is weird because I love a feature. I love a little bit. I love like a souvenir. She has no souvenirs. Her life is empty.
So what does bring her joy?
Having fuck all on the shelves.
Apparently.
First, have you seen the Scandinavian house cleaning ones? It's kind of like that. Which, you know, the houses are really nice, but hers is just like no personality. Whereas at least the Scandinavian ones have personality.
You lost me.
Okay, that's
But I do get what you mean with just getting some souvenirs and putting, like, basically your house needs to get more and more stuffed with souvenir shapes.
lives in.
Get
Yeah,
some-
it's why
yeah.
people get dogs. Okay, because people without dogs, they can keep their house clean that easier if they have like no kids and no dogs. It's easy to keep a house clean, right? Because the only people you're
Right.
cleaning up for is yourself. Not if you have roommates. If you're one of those people that have 5 roommates in one house, your house is going to be in there. You've no choice. But if you're like a married couple and you're living Scandinavianly, no dogs, no cats. Cats? I meant to say children. Same thing. Then your house will have like no hair, no sticky fingers on the window.
Right.
So it's not lived in. So it's sad. That's why people should get dogs. Adopt, don't shop.
To
Make their house feel like it's loved. Have you ever opened the door and then there's a dog on the other side?
yes.
And instead, you know this dog, so it's not a growly, scary one. It's a, oh, hey, you're one of my people. So he'll bark
Yeah.
at you because he'll go, oh, the door made a noise. And then he'll go, oh, wait, it's you. The
Yeah.
joy on their face. The joy on
They're
my face.
genuinely always happy to see it.
I miss my dog. Well, dog. I keep forgetting one of them's dead. Well, not forgetting. Denial.
Just
He was, okay, this is going to sound, people will judge me. 2 dogs. One of them's my soul dog. The other one's just my dog. It's not
So-
that I'm playing favorites. It's just one of them clearly prefers everything about me, whereas the other one can be an asshole.
But I mean that I think people, especially that have cats or dogs or whatever kind of animals, can relate to that because sometimes you just click with an animal in like a really
Intimate way.
and sometimes you don't. Sometimes they're just cool, but you don't
Oh,
like.
yeah. He's still cool. He's thick as shit, but he's cool. Whereas my soul dog was dumb, but in a dopey, you know, Dobby?
The elf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but less likely to kill me trying to help. More likely to just watch and like kill myself trying to do something.
Right.
But he'll cry over my corpse, probably.
Hopefully.
Well, he's dead. He can't cry over anything anymore.
Well, maybe. No, I'm not gonna. But maybe
If
he's
you
in
say
heaven.
dogs don't go to heaven, I will be so mad. All dogs go to heaven. There was 2 movies about it, and I can tell you now, if I went to the priest, he would guarantee it. Or Pope Francis. Did we talk about how cool Pope Francis is?
We can if you want.
I don't know. I don't know what rules you have. You might want me to talk about other stuff, and instead I'm just talking about whatever comes into my head.
No, I kind of realized that. I'm just going with it. That's
You're just
fine.
like, aw.
But I mean, which is still weird. I'm saying weird because the people that listen are trying to learn something about you. So if you want to tell us about Pope Francis, you
Head
can go
empty,
ahead.
thoughts gone, nothing.
Well, then I will ask a question.
Oh, go for it. Come on.
So you said you traveled around relatively young because
As a traveling Mike, you are interested in this.
I am, and especially from someone because I traveled when I was almost grown, like I started when I was 16.
Ancient.
So how was it like really growing up and just traveling around?
So my first plane ride, I was only like a couple months old.
Oh wow.
So my dad at the time was based in Ripon in England, North Yorkshire. Proud. But
Hmm.
like we lived in Harrogate because that's where the army camp is, but we're not posh. Harrogate's like the only posh part in North Yorkshire.
Mm.
It's nice. I've driven through it. I don't know how we lived there. Um, so I was my passport says Harrogate because that's where I'm from.
Mm.
And we lived there for a couple months because mum was having baby. But during the time, it was when the IRA would like start to close up, but still blowing stuff up.
Right.
So my dad got posted in Northern Ireland in Derry. So he
Mm.
went over first, and then he went wife. I don't want to say my mum's name; it's very
That's
obvious.
fine.
Wife. I have as a house, and I miss you. I think, and our children, probably. I'm kidding. My dad's very affectionate, but we all joke that he can't show affection.
Right.
It's a thing.
So he might be the real robot.
My dad would be a rubbish robot. He has too many opinions. Robots do as they're told, in theory, unless your computer's listening, in which case it can do whatever it wants. So yeah, my dad was like, the camp set up for family. It's cool for you to come. Yeah, I know there's kind of bombs going off, but like family. And my mum's like, yeah,
Right.
we should all be together. So mum packed up life, flew us out to Ireland, and the house that the army moved us into was shockingly shit. My mum cried. It was that bad.
Oh no.
So she went, Pete, can't. Oh, okay. My dad's got a very obvious like English. Everyone's called
I
Pete.
can also cut it out.
Also, I don't care that much. It's okay. So she went, Pete, I can't live here. I can't. It's awful. And he went, okay, I'll fix this. So my dad, who he did well in the army, but when he first went in, he was a naughty boy. So they kept an
Mm.
eye on him. He went, so the house that we moved into had my wife in tears. We cannot stay there.
Yeah.
Which for like a new recruit, back in like the time when my dad was joining as well, back when the army was actually strict,
Mm.
that was a big thing for him to have to do. And he went, okay, got it fixed. We moved into a new house. Mum was no longer crying.
Nice.
And that was how I went on my first flight. Ta-da! My mum we had a great time in Ireland. My mum like rarely left the camp with me and Chloe because obviously dangers. But what she used to do is whenever she wanted a haircut, she'd leave me and my sister and my dad and go off camp to get a haircut. And my dad said,
Mm.
you're risking your life to look pretty. And she went, yeah.
But that's something I've wanted to ask about because knowing a little bit of that kind of history, and I'm not saying I'm an expert, but isn't Derry where like all the shit went down? That's like the
Yeah.
middle of
But on
the.
the other hand, it's also where we got our dog. So, pros and cons. We could have died, but apparently I got to pet a donkey. My sister went to preschool for the first time there with like other army Irish kids.
Right.
I was baby until I was like 3. I never went to like any of the schools, but I did go to like a playgroup because my mum and dad were obviously soldier family.
Yeah.
Because on the soldiers' days off, they were told, do nothing to make yourself appear like a soldier because they will kill you. They will fuck you up.
Mm.
So, but the thing is, my dad's very obviously English. Like, he was telling me at the time of when we went to go get lovely, lovely baby dog, Mercy.
Mm.
Back when he was a puppy, my dad went to the farm to go get him. But because it was a farm, they could hold guns legally. So my dad's commanding officer went, if you're going to do this, you have to take another guy. The guy's going to stay in the car and he's going to have a gun. So my dad and this other guy went off, got the dog. My dad picked Murphy. But the farmer on the way out asked him, are you a soldier? As my dad told him, couldn't do anything.
Oh,
And my
wow.
dad just kind of went, yeah. And he went, don't come back. But we still got the dog.
I mean, I just don't want to brush over the fact that is quite an intense story, though. Like that's the situation there
Yeah.
was really intense, right?
Yeah. was not as traumatized by it as I could have been if I was older. The age me and my sister were in Ireland, it was during like a rocky time in the history, like
Yeah.
car bombs and stuff. So,
Yeah, exactly.
but we were young, and my parents are really good at sheltering me and my sister. Like me and my sister are a bit naive to like life because our parents are quite overprotective. My parents didn't have the best upbringing, like each of them different reasons. So they kind of wanted to be good parents. So
But
they,
I guess especially in that army
oh yeah,
setting, you have to
but
be like really careful what the children like get to
get
hear and stuff.
exposed to. But what you don't realize in an army setting is that's your community,
Mm.
and you are in one of the best places to be as a kid.
Mm.
Could I be kidnapped from an army camp? Do you think I could
Right.
have someone snatch me up?
Yeah, no,
No,
definitely.
safe as anything. I just have to be aware that sometimes it didn't happen in Germany, but it happened in Canada where, like, again, I was on an army camp. A kid's dad died. I don't know the details. I can't remember. I
Mm.
was still young. But if one guy goes down, the entire camp knows.
Right.
And the kids we know that people can die and we know what our parents are doing, but our parents then give us a sit down of, be particularly nice to this kid for this reason.
Mm.
Like, the first time I didn't live on an army camp was when, I'm not sure if I told you previously, but I'll tell you guys. Um, my parents wanted me and my sister settled for high school because they wanted us to, like, high school is the important thing that you into college and university and all that crap.
Yeah.
So they went, okay, my parents sat down, they were like, if we're not settled in a place where dad can go off and do his army thing, mum can do her nurse thing, and the kids can go to high school, me and my sister were going to be sent to boarding school.
Oh shit.
Oh, I did not tell you.
No, you didn't.
I thought you were like maybe, oh, for the crowd, fake a reaction. I don't know. I can't remember.
Maybe I'm still faking it.
You sound like every ex girlfriend ever. um, so my parents went, okay, settle the girls for high school. So we went to civilian school. We went to a school where my cousins went, where my
Mm.
dad's family's been going for a while. So there was a bit of my dad knew what was going on in the area, that type of stuff. And it was Catholic school.
Yeah.
So I got introduced, say, hi guys, this is Rachel. She's done that class. She's her dad's in the army. So she moved around a lot. Please be nice to the child. And like one of the first questions I got asked is, had my dad killed anybody?
Mm.
You don't get asked that question on an army camp. You don't need to be told not to ask that because
Right.
all the other kids have a
They do
parent
the
that does
same
that.
thing. Yeah.
So it was like my first time being exposed to real kids because I grew up as the army have a term called scadsbrat, where you basically just grow up on the camp.
Mm.
And I got out of the camp high school age. That's teenagers. That's hormones. That's
Yeah.
bullying.
Yeah.
So I got like asked weird questions occasionally about what my dad was up to, especially like when he got posted to Afghanistan. That wasn't
That did you go there as well? Did
to
you?
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Fuck
No,
no.
that's what I was trying
No.
to get at.
Ireland was a different situation because it was in like the UK.
Right.
They could set up a camp that would be reasonably safe. You can never guarantee safety in war zones. So my dad's
Yeah.
been to like Kosovo, Iraq, Afghanistan. He went to Vietnam on a peacekeeping thing. Jordan. I don't know. He has a bunch of medals. I'm super proud of my dad. Oh shit, microphone.
That's all right.
You might want to blur out the thing, me whacking it. But yeah, one of the first you ask, tell us a little bit about yourself. One of the first thing I ever was a soldier's kid. But it wasn't weird for me because I was surrounded by soldier kids. I didn't realize how unusual it was until I wasn't on it.
Yeah. That's kind of what I wanted to ask as well. Um, but you already answered it pretty much. But it's like, when do you really? Only when you got out and, like you said, confronted with real kids, or was it even going
No,
going older and older? Was there situations even on the camp where you were like, "Is this how everyone grows up?" Or was it in the camp? It
no,
was still normal.
in the camp, it was like our own little ecosystem.
Yeah,
You all had a parent that was serving. You all had a parent that wasn't serving.
yeah,
Most of the time, it was your dad's because traditionally male-centered
right.
job. So they had the army wives, and they were all great. They all looked out for each other. Yeah, they had their own little groups of people who preferred doing one thing. Like my mum was part of she joined an ice hockey team in Canada.
Oh
Well, we
shit.
all did. My dad was on the Ralston Flyers. My mum was a Ralston Devil. And me and my sister joined the kids club, but we kept hitting each other with hockey sticks, so they put us on different teams. She was a Coyote, and I was a Ralston Flame, named for the Calgary Flame.
Yeah.
Actually, we really idealize.
Idealized?
Yeah, that's the word. Idealize Canada, like, as a family, because that was, like, the most peaceful and, like, loving time in our lives. My dad got to coach my hockey team. Mine and Chloe's, he wouldn't just pick one.
Oh, so both of them. You
Yeah.
coach both
So
teams?
they, like, co-coached and, like, they had the kids together.
Right.
That was, like, a really awesome opportunity for us. That wouldn't have happened in other places, because when we lived in England, we lived in my dad's hometown where he grew up, but then he'd be, like, in this direction, that direction, other direction, so we'd only see him on weekends.
Hmm.
Canada, he was, like, home most of the time, and if he wasn't, he was just out in the prairies doing tank shit. And
But I'm just gonna show my not knowledge. What's the
idiocy?
yes, that no, but what is there? Why is there an army base in Canada? I honestly don't know. Is there like
I think
stuff
it
going
was,
on?
like, not war stuff. Everything
Yeah.
has to be war. Jeez, you're so violent. Just because it's the army. Um, they just had a base there and they did, like, training stuff. So,
Right.
like, because we were you know how I said I don't do cities?
Yeah.
Middle of butt fuck nowhere prairies.
Ah.
The closest town was, like, an hour away, and it was called Medicine Hat, and it was, like, a small city-ish thing
Mm.
where they had, like, a mall
Oh
and,
yeah.
like, probably some people lived there. And it's a really cool story about how it got its name. It's a Native American legend. We can go into it later if you care. But, yeah, in Ralston where we lived, like, so they had the houses, then they had a little neighboring village where, like, non-army personnel were,
Mm.
and then they had the camp. So that's all you could see. I could stand on this hill, which is next to the school, and do a big circle and see nothing but the camp.
All right.
It was great. And they'd go out into the prairies and they'd, I don't know, blow stuff up. And my dad had complained because he was sleeping underneath a Jeep.
But
It
no,
was
like
cold.
actually that I mean obviously I didn't think it was all war, but I didn't realize that you actually sent people overseas to do training camps, that it was that common
Well,
to
they
like
couldn't do that in England so much, could they?
mm,
There's less land to work with because
true,
we're an island. And
sure.
yeah, they do have army camps and they do have training exercises, but they're limited to what they can do.
Hmm.
They can do the hill climbing stuff. They can do, like, terrain training. They can do camouflage. But if they were to, like, tank fire for, like, training or whatever, yeah,
Yeah.
if they did it often, because towns and villages are close to each other. Like, you can't drive half an hour without running into the next village, no matter what
Yeah.
size it is.
Yeah.
Imagine how terrifying that would be living next to one.
No, yeah, Canada definitely is not the least as dense as England. Like they have so
Exactly.
many like vast.
Vast open lands. And that's another thing that I'm not sure if it's a me thing or an army kid thing. I was aware of the rest of the world, but I wasn't aware of how far away it was because I was traveling so much. So it was like,
Right.
okay, I go over here for this. And I thought, like, I'd never encountered someone who didn't have a passport before. Because we
Mm,
grew up with, like, this is your passport. So, like,
yeah.
dad would go, your job, hold this passport, don't put it down. Your job, hold this passport, don't put it down. Me and my sister. And to make sure we weren't being idiots and an asshole. So, yeah, we'd have our passports. But I've encountered, like, kids when we came to England who'd never been out of the country, didn't have a passport. And I was like, but where do you go? Like,
Yeah.
'cause like, we still went on holiday within the army, but, like, these people have never even left their home country.
Yeah, that's the interesting part. That's why I always love to talk about these things because that's a theme we discover. It's like what is normal to a person because it really depends on how you grow up.
Yeah.
And-
Like, I was very lucky from a young age to be encountering, like, different cultures. Like, I'm not saying I've been traveling Asia or, like, Africa and all that stuff, but different people from different walks of life. Because even
Yeah.
though it was an English army base, it wasn't just English people we had there. Because they were doing, like, training exercises with this and that and all the other, well, Canadians at that point. Sometimes French Canadians,
Mm.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I encountered lots of different people from lots of different ages.
So, when you actually went to high school, then I reckon, and again, I don't know this for sure, but you stayed in high school then until you finished high school.
Yeah, that
S-
was the whole point of us going back to it.
Right. So, did you feel at that point, or in general, that, or well, let me ask more in a question kind of sense, that moving around, did that contribute to how you grew up? Like, did you
Yes.
feel like you definitely felt that make a difference? That's all
Yeah.
we're constantly like moving and
Me and, like I said, the school that we went to, my dad and my mum picked it because my cousins were there. I've got a
mm,
cousin that's the same age as me. So they were like, "Oh, Rachel, you can go to
right.
school with your cousin, be in the same classes and stuff." And I was so excited
Yeah.
because you've got to remember at this point, because I grew up in Canada, she grew up in England, we were like kids.
Mm,
We didn't talk,
yeah.
but all army kids kind of like chat with each other. Even if you don't know them, you just kind of like move on with life.
It really sounds like it's a nice community to
It
grow up
was a
in.
really great community. I had a great some people, and this is as I've got older and my mum has told me, like, if the parents or the kid has trouble fitting in at first, it can be quite lonely because then it feels like the entire community against the one.
Mm,
But I never personally had that, and neither did my parents, 'cause
right.
my parents are very social, which is
Mm.
incredible. My sister is social Leonette. Nah, kinda kidding. But yeah, so I arrived in England and I was like, "Okay, so I get to go to clash with my cousin, maybe she'll introduce me to people so I can
Yeah.
make some friends." And I was like, "Yay,
Yeah.
friends!" You remember how I mentioned earlier how my parents were, like, quite protective of me and my sister?
Right.
That made it, I wouldn't say naive, but we were definitely our age,
Mhm.
maybe a bit naive. But, my cousin, same age as me, she was acting older. You know, when you see it with, I think they call them the Sephora kids that are going in when they're 7 and they're getting, like, full face routines like they were 16 or something? I walked into that, and these
Right.
girls were, like, wearing makeup
It's
and
super
dancing
much.
like they
Yeah.
saw in the movies, and,
Mm,
again, rural Canada, I didn't have access to YouTube because I didn't use a computer that much. I was
right.
outside chasing coyotes or whatever. Being
Which sounds way better than being on YouTube all day.
not a great idea. They can bite. Um, and like, I don't know, I was loose and feral running around because that's what my parents encouraged. That's what all the other army kids were doing. We were just outside all the time.
Yeah.
I got sunburnt so many times. I'm very white for those who couldn't have guessed.
Okay.
So yeah, landed back and these girls, and they didn't play. Like, they didn't want to kick the ball. Like the boys, they were playing football, doing cricket and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And I was just like, "Oh yeah, that's fun. Can I go play?" And they're like, "No, you're a girl." I was like, "Eh?" Never encountered that type of like gender gap because
Yeah.
on my hockey team, it was both genders. Because small community, less kids, just put them all together. No one cares.
Right.
So I would be classed as a tomboy by the standards of those girls around me
Their
because I
standards.
didn't care about what I was wearing because I can run better in shorts than a skirt. And also, I run, skirt goes up there, and I don't really care because, again, I was acting my age. I was playing.
Yeah.
But the girls around me didn't want to play. And some of the boys wouldn't play with me. So I was playing with like what would be classed as like the weirder boys, the unpopular ones. I was
Mhm.
having a great time. We invented this game where there was one person against a wall with like a tennis racket, and
Right.
it'd be like they were a goalkeeper and we had tennis rackets and we were trying to get it in, but if it hit you, it hurt.
Yeah, it sounds like that.
But it was a game and it was something we could play. And eventually I got them to play football with. But like I had to fight to play. I had to fight to be able to act my age, which the nicer girls in the class didn't care. But some of like the more fabulous ones, fabulous, that sounds a bit mean, but it's a term I use, fabulous.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, they didn't really talk to me. And then I didn't realize it, but I was disappointing my cousin. So I found
Because
out
she thought,
later.
"Oh, Rich, we'll just go with it,"
Yeah.
and like,
So I walked in thinking, cousin, we can play. She was waiting for me to walk in, going, cousin, she's gonna be just like me. And we were.
Yeah.
Because we had our childhood when I took come visit England and we'd play, run around the garden. We accidentally kicked my sister into a rose bush, stuff like that. But she was expecting me to act like her because that was her world,
Yeah.
what she grew used to. And that's completely fine. But again, different upbringings, that thing you were talking about.
Exactly.
And it really hit me hard when she had a birthday party. And it was a swimming party. And I was like, cool, awesome. How can I mess up a swimming party? Turns out she didn't invite us. My aunt did. And she cried because me and my sister showed up.
That's horrible.
It
That's such
felt
a horrible reaction. Like,
it was like awful for all of us because it's unfortunate that her birthday didn't go the way she wanted. But me and my sister felt like shit.
yeah,
So
of
me and her
course.
just went and played on the inflatable because my sister at this point wasn't too cool to play, hang out. And we went to the water slides and they had nothing to do with the party. But like for all through high school as well, our aunt would invite us and we'd go, but we know that she didn't
You
want us
kind of.
there. She had a baby last week.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I don't know. We're so happy.
That's
She's like, she doesn't cry when I show up places anymore because she's a grown ass woman. But like that high school like reaction, and it was the first place I was moving to where I thought I'd already have a built-in friend.
but
So it was like
I mean, obviously, and like you just said,
you find your people.
yeah, and it's like with teenagers, it doesn't make a
Everything's so
lot of
much a bigger
sense. It's just
reaction.
because it's a lot. It's way more emotional. It's not really rational most of the time,
Yeah.
and but I find that aspect though really interesting.
Two
Is
different kids, 2 different ages, same type of family dynamic, how they
yeah,
grew up. Completely different,
yeah,
and how it reconverged together.
and, and also in general how that dynamic, um, because you put a lot of different people in a public school rather than the army school that you went to, and you
Yeah.
see like those different
Different
people,
cliques.
like all that play out, like you said. And in the army, it was way more knit and tight because everyone,
Like, you still had your friendship group, you still had your main friends that you hung out with, but it
yeah,
was less,
judgment.
I'm sure there were still judgy people. I'm a
Mm,
bit oblivious, so I may have missed some shit. And I was young as well.
yeah,
And again, it was I had a great time in the army, so maybe I've idolized that part of my life. I'm not saying that I'm an unbiased source. That's the
right.
word. But there was less aggression. Like my scooter got stolen in the army camp.
Oh,
And it got returned a week later to exactly where I left it.
well, that's cool.
Yeah. But that's like the worst thing that ever happened to me within an army camp.
Right.
And it all worked out. Whereas, again, all the people, all the problems, different scenarios, but everything outside of the camp was so much more overreaction, so much more explosive overreaction, which is ironic because they deal with actual explosives. Like, I got to drive a tank.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that once
I know, because
before,
I still
but
think about it. And I'm like, this is awesome. I should have joined the army.
but yeah, I mean, how was it? And I mean, it's
Okay,
must be very oh,
family fun days that like villages and towns do.
yeah.
Army version of it, you can drive a tank.
Ah, true.
Though Billy's younger brother once did get run over by an army truck. He broke like
Shit.
everything, and he got dragged by the car for a bit before they noticed. So on one hand, it's a really safe place to grow up. On the other hand, you're more than likely your chances of being run over by a tank are higher.
Yeah.
Pros and cons.
So if you're not keen on driving the tank, stay home at Sunday.
Yeah. Well, you can also drive a digger. There was a game you
Oh,
get to drive a digger and knock the balls off, and if you manage to knock off all the balls, you win a prize. But
that's
also,
cool.
we lived in Canada, so we had rodeos as well.
How nice.
Yes.
I like.
My mom didn't let me ride the sheep. You could ride a sheep, and whoever stayed on the longest won.
Yeah, they do that. I
You
went
see him on the TV and stuff.
went and
And I
watched
had
the
the chance
rodeo.
to do it, and mom was like, no, you'll break something. I'm like,
I mean, you can get hurt pretty bad falling off.
shut up.
Like wild
Stop
animals.
siding with mother.
Just saying.
I'll tell her not to subscribe to you now.
Oh, I'm afraid.
You should be. My mother is very fearsome and knows many people. Like, oh, speaking of army community, my dad, one of my dad's old army mates was meant to come to New Zealand. My dad was like, oh, he's going to come see you. I was like, why? He was just like, check up on you. Okay.
But that's how close it
Yeah,
all
they
is.
can just, they have friends all over the world. Like, there's a couple of like retired army dudes that are in Australia for some reason. I don't know. They're not getting shot at, so they want spiders. So, he was just like, okay, you're going to go to Australia on the way there? I was like, I don't know. He was just like, okay, these are the houses you can stay at. These are the ones like that will feed you well.
That's cool.
It's very cool.
No,
And like, if
that's
I go
actually
back to
nice.
Germany, my godfather's there,
Oh,
along with my godmother. She breeds champion show dogs. And my
Mhm.
godfather is a military man with a mustache.
Nice.
I know. And then his son does tattoos, which is very funny because he does not approve. Get a real job. No, Dad, I'm going to paint.
Paint people.
Paint on people.
Exactly. I'm going to use Germany, though, to go and transition to Austria. So you told us that, and I know obviously, that you love mountains, that you love the winter. Not mountains, but like the winter. And
Summer is hot and has bugs. Winter is snow filled and bugs are dead.
all right,
And I can ski.
so that was already an answer to my question, but I'll ask the question anyway. What kind of inspired you to seek out this kind of career in skiing and just like
I
follow that?
can link my skiing to the army.
Hmm.
I know. It all comes back to this one little thing that affected me for a long time. So one of the things they do in Canada, and why is the
Right.
army there, is they do a winter training exercises in the Rocky Mountains.
Mm.
But you know how mental health has only just started to become a thing in the last 30 odd years?
Yeah,
Like before that, everyone was just like, suck it up, buttercup, rub some dirt on it.
pretty
You're
much.
not sad, you just need a snack, which is fair. Sometimes when I'm sad, I do just need a snack. But they were going, okay, you guys, you're going to go into the freezing cold mountains and do some winter training and we'll teach you how to ski. And all of them were going, oh, I don't want to go. And then the army went, fine. Why are you sad? And they went, being away from our wives and our children.
Mm.
And also, we're going to get very cold because we're in the mountains. It's whinging. Whinging, boys. So they went, okay, tell you what, this is what we'll do. We will get you a discounted price at this hotel. We'll set your kids up with ski lessons and we'll help you
Mm.
get equipment on the cheap. But you guys have to stop bitching. And they went, dope. So my dad came home one day and he went, hey guys, do you want to go to the Rocky Mountains and go skiing? And my mom went, sure. And me and my sister were like, what's skiing? 'Cause
Right.
babies. And he went, don't worry, you'll love it. And at first it was very cold. So we got dragged to the Rocky Mountains. We went to Banff National Park. Beautiful place. They have bears there. I'll tell you a funny story about how my mum encountered a bear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Please.
you might like that. But yeah, so the army set us up at this hotel called the Wind Tower, where they had like a little kitchenette and like there was a hot tub outside. I've got a funny story about the hot
Mm.
tub as well. And we learned how to ski. So at first they set us up with normal instructors like from a ski school. Me and my sister started with this lady named Tamari. She was super nice. And could control mine and my sister's bullshit. Because we used to fight like cats and dogs when we were young. And
Mm.
then later we had this second guy named Pierre, who was a lovely French Canadian who was filled with energy and he made my mum laugh really hard. And he sorted out mine and Chloe's bullshit by getting a stick and putting Chloe on one end and me on the other. And yeah, we learned how to ski with them. But we got good. We got good really quick because we started young and we didn't know how to die. So
Right.
if you have no fear of death, you don't know to be afraid.
Yeah.
So that's why when kids are doing something, they'll get like good at it quite quick. Whereas adults, they know they can get hurt,
We're
so
kind of
they slow
hold
down.
back. Yeah.
We didn't do that. So eventually we got good enough, along with like a small group of other army kids who were doing this a lot. So there was Harry, Sasha, Phoebe, Henry, me, and Chloe. 2 sets of siblings. Wait, 3 sets. I can count. And we ended up doing training with like the army people.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so there'd be like bunch of soldiers, big, tough, burly guy,
Yeah.
and then the kids.
Mm.
So they'd be like, yo, these guys do this, do this, do this. And then they'd go, you're right. And we'd be like, yeah.
Yes.
I actually scared one of them once, though, by accident.
The instructors or the guys?
I'm the instructor. I had a chest cold
Mm.
and I was a baby. Well, not baby, young.
Yeah.
And we went to the top of, for those of you who enjoy skiing, Lake Louise. First mountain I skied at, best time ever. So we went to the top of Lake Louise. There's a run there called the Boomerang. You have to go up on a T-bar and then you're at the highest point. I was a baby with a chest cold. So skiing down. He stopped. He was talking about doing this. And he went, you're right, Rich. And I went, I just breathe. And he went, radio. We got a kid down. And neither of my parents were in that group because like there was like top group and then there was like second to top group. That's where I was. And there was third one, which is where my sister was with my mum. And then my dad was in like a different one, I think. But yeah, radioed. Kid down. And like my dad and my mum were listening to the radio because they had kids and I wasn't with one of them.
Yeah.
And he went, I'm going to get Rachael lifted off. And they heard Rachael, which is me. And they're rather fond of me at that point because they'd had me for like 6 years. So they'd grown attached.
Weird.
Yeah, like weird, right? It's all right. I'll tell you how I was born later. It's very funny. So, yeah, they knew where I was because he was like, I'm at the top of the Boomerang. You can see us this high up. And my parents were like at the bottom of this run. So it's on the other side of the mountain, but they were at the bottom and they could look up and they saw our group. Ski patrol came, they got me and they put me in the, have you seen the toboggans? So it's like a flat tray and they can drag it behind them where you're kind of locked in. You know, like on an ambulance, they put you in the stretcher.
Yeah.
But it's like a stretcher that can ski.
Oh, okay.
And they've got handles on it so they can pull it behind them.
I don't think I've ever seen one, but
So if it's not possible to get you down on the snowmobile, they'll put you on the stretcher.
Oh, okay.
So I was being stretchered down, and the lower we went, because lower the altitude, I could breathe better.
Right.
So we got to the bottom where there was a guy in a snowmobile ready to whisk me up to the first aid box. And they were like, how you doing? I was like, I feel better now. Because, I could breathe. And they went, okay. So they put me on the back of the snowmobile, and then they started going towards the first aid. But as we were going towards the first aid, I saw my dad like try to ski back up this mountain, which is really hard. People who ski will know walking in skis, exhausting.
Yeah.
So I was watching my dad and I just kind of went, oh, it's Dad. And I waved. And I found out later he had such a fury overcome him because he thought I was like, acting up, doing bullshit. And he was like, you. But yeah, and then I saw my sister, so I waved again. Anyway, got to the first aid. My mum followed the thing, which probably the fastest she's ever been since she had that crash. She's such a good mum. Met at the first aid, and she was like, my mum's a nurse, so she was and she was like, chest cold, high altitude. She's fine.
Right.
But yeah, that was the time I scared an army instructor.
Yeah. And your parents.
And my parents, but I scare them frequently and often. They're used to it at this point.
Well, I want to hear the bear story, though.
The bear story. Okay, you know the dog I told you about from Germany?
Yeah.
His name was Murphy, and he was my mum's soul dog. My mum had 2 soul dogs, but she unfortunately lost one when she was a kid. But Murphy loved my mother. And you can't blame him because my mum's great. My mum's like super kind, super lovely, like really caring, one of those people.
Right.
But she scares the shit out of him because, she's Scottish and scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my mum's one of the most loveliest people, and this dog was committed to her in every bit of her life. And he used to come on ski holidays with us. So we were at the wind tower, and my mum and dad switch off who walks the dogs, who puts the kids to bed, because those are equal jobs. So my dad was on me and Chloe duty. My mum took the dog out. Middle of winter, Banff National Park. There's this river which is frozen over, but it's like quite low because mainly the water comes off the mountain come springtime. So it was like a little ditch thing, but like a small river ditch. So bigger than a normal ditch.
Yeah.
You think I could say ditch any more than I've said ditch?
Ditch?
Ditch. Don't be such a ditch. Anyway, so my mum was walking the dog along the ditch because it takes her out of town and she does
Along
this
the
big
what?
old loop. The ditch.
I'm sorry.
The ditch that we're talking about?
The ditch, yeah.
Ditch, yeah.
The river ditch.
The river ditch. Not to be confused with a lake ditch or a crag ditch, you know? Anyway,
Right.
Mum was walking along the ditch, and on the other side of the ditch, she saw what she thought was a dog, and she was like, "Oh, why is there another dog out here?" And she was watching it, and then she was like, "Oh, that's moving funny for a dog. Maybe it's a wolf."
Mm.
And she was like, "Okay, so one wolf, there's normally more." So she was like, keeping an eye on it, and then she was like, "It's a bit big to be a wolf." And at this point, Murphy, who again loved the dog, my mother, hackles, but this dog doesn't growl, doesn't bite, doesn't do any of that shit.
Mm.
We completely domesticated him, very house dog, but he would kill for us. For those of you who want to know the breed, German Shorthair Pointer. Mwah, beautiful. Anyway, so Murphy hackles for rays, looking at this guy.
Right.
And then the dog stood up.
Right.
It was a bear. My mum went, "Fuck! Run, run, run. Come on, Murphy. Run, 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 run." She leapt over the fence, and then she went, "Oh, shit, the dog." Dog was running along the fence. My mum jumped back over,
Oh, shit.
grabbed the dog, threw the dog. These guys are in love. My mum would not leave the dog. Dog would not leave her. Mum jumped back over the fence, sprinted all the way into town. And she ended up at this car dealership where there was like, I don't know, 20-year-old hothead, whatever.
Mhm.
Mum was like, oh my God, there's a bear. And he went, okay. And my mum went, you're useless. Kept running. My mum ran all the way back to the wind tower, up the stairs, went to my dad. She was like, oh my God, Pete, there was a bear. And then my dad went, you ripped your coat. So my mum, when she jumped the fence, ripped her coat. My dad has different priorities. My mum, bless her heart, was traumatized by said bear. My dad was traumatized because he had to buy my mum a new coat. And then when my mum went back, she told the ladies at work, and they got her a bobblehead bear as a, you survived the bear.
That's kind of funny, I guess.
Yeah, so, it's funny now.
I mean, it's horrifying. Like,
She's fine.
a bear is. I mean, it's a funny story in hindsight, but if you see a bear in the wild,
I've
wow.
seen the bears in the wild. Black bears, though. Black bears are pussies.
Mm.
You just
So
kind of growl at them.
it was like a grizzly over in Canada.
I'd
What kind
assume
of
so.
bears
Yeah, it's
right?
too far inland to be a polar bear. She would not survive that anyway. But yeah, I'm assuming grizzly.
That's a good story. I'm just gonna try my luck again because you mentioned something about a hot tub story.
Oh, the hot tub. Well, it's less of a story, more of like a continuous habit that my mother does.
Hmm.
So, you know how you behave in a hot tub. You sit there, you enjoy the chill. You're not there to splash. You're not there to swim.
No.
But me and my sister at this point, we baby angels, like I don't know, 5, 6 years old. So my mum's like, all right, girls, I know you love to swim in the splash. So here's what we'll do. I'll send you guys down to the hot tub first. You can splish and splash as much as you want, but when I arrive, you've got to behave. And we were like, okay. So we go down to the hot tub. And sometimes there's other people in there.
Right.
But we'd be splishing and we'd be splashing and they'd leave.
Right.
And then my mum would come after they'd left.
So
She sent us to
she
scare
did
out the
that
other
on
people.
purpose.
Yeah. Continuously for years. And she told us about it later, what she did.
That's quite.
A devious little thing, isn't it?
It's a good way to use your children.
If you have kids.
Oh, I want to go into the hot tub, but there's too many people.
There's too
Hey,
many
Rachel.
people and they might talk to me. Rachel, sister of Rachel.
No, that's quite. I mean, it's devious, but it's also very intelligent.
My mum is like super like practically clever and science clever. Don't give her maths. My parents had roles when it came to high school homework. So mum was like sciencey stuff, some geography, and like my dad, maths. You go to dad for maths, history, geography, and then art. You'd go to mum. Mum was like really good at drawing. She's not dead. Is really good at drawing. She had a painting hung above her bed in Canada. I just remember it was like a pitch black sky and a moon. You'd think that'd just be like drawing, but because she painted it, it had like texture, so it looked pretty dope.
So she hung her own painting. So it was one of hers.
She's very
that she
vain.
painted. No, that's not her. I'm just saying.
It's the only painting of hers I remember seeing. I've seen her do like little doodles and stuff, but that's like her first and only painting that I've really seen.
Hmm.
Really cool.
It's nice if you.
It's still in Canada. She did not take it with us when we moved.
That's always something I wish I could do, in a sense.
Have you seen what Caro did? The paint by numbers thing.
Who knows I did?
Oh, it's really pretty.
Yeah.
She hasn't finished it. She was like, Rachel, you can finish it. And I was like, yeah, sure. I enjoy Doodle. And then
Oh,
so
I
I
didn't
fucked
see.
that up. It's so beautiful. It's like a ballerina looking over Paris.
Oh,
It's in the back office at reception. Go have a look.
I will. I will definitely take. That's a ballerina over Paris.
Mm.
Sounds
So,
nice.
well, she's like sat in a window looking all elegant. And it's like all different shades of pink.
Oh,
Do you want to finish it?
I don't know if I told you, but pink is my second favorite color after
You have
orange.
never told me this.
I have two favorite colors:
There's
orange
this
and
really
pink.
pretty orange dress in town that you might like then.
Well, I doubt that specific part, but I like everything that's orange.
Well, it doesn't have to be something you'd wear. You can appreciate beauty and think because it's different shades of orange and brown, so it's very sunsetty.
Right. Yeah.
But like not like a dark brown, like you know the light brown, like when the sun's setting over the hills.
Mhm. I mean, to be fair, I like orange dresses. Not on me, but I do like orange dresses.
Want to take me shopping after this?
With
I
what
get a free
money?
dress. You get to see a pretty girl wearing an orange dress.
Well, we have to find some sponsors because I don't think I have the money to buy you a dress.
Me neither. How's that?
Eh.
If I get you a sponsor from Yorkshire Tea from this, you have to send me the proceeds.
Definitely.
Yes. Or if Sean Bean comes to me with a movie idea, I then have to split it with you because it originally came from here.
I'll take that deal because I think it's more probable Sean Bean will work with you than the tea sponsoring me.
You don't know. You should talk about things more often. Like, be like, hey, I bought a hoodie from this place or a t-shirt from there. And then maybe you'd get like clue.
Just put some references out there.
Yeah, you don't know what people do.
True.
With your millions of followers, you could get like so many.
We're here in the Slim cupboard with glass running up from Max Clean.
You name things you want, Mori. Like,
Well, there's nothing in the cupboard that I want.
No. What's that grocery brand? It's not Waterstones. That's the bookshop.
Walgreens.
Walgreens.
Yes.
I'm gonna unofficially sponsor this by Walgreens. We like their food, and they have meat on their meat shelves, which I want. You know, I don't know. You're the fancy person. Make it fancy. Oh, turn around. Look at my ski bag. Promote the ski bag. I've hid my ski bag in this cupboard because it takes up too much room in the room.
And it has a painting of Van Gogh on there.
That is my
Van
luggage
Gogh.
tag. It's Starry Night by Van Gogh, and it's one of my favorite. Just because it's like really pretty. I've always wanted to go see a Van Gogh in like real life.
I've seen, I think, 2 or 3 of his in Amsterdam. They have a couple there in the museums. I really love
What are you doing in Amsterdam?
visiting.
Visiting who?
I actually had a friend that lived there at the time, so I did visit him. But I also just wanted to see Amsterdam because it's a city
He's a hoe. I can say hoe, right?
yes.
Because for all you
Like-
know, I could mean Santa.
Like the thing in the garden, right?
Who? Oh, the
The hoe?
garden implement.
Yeah, that's
No.
what we're talking about, right? The
No,
hoe.
I'm talking about Santa. Oh.
Yeah, I'll take that. It's almost Christmas, so
It is. You need to do it Christmas after. Oh, release mine on Christmas. And be like your Christmas star.
I mean, you actually will be released in Christmas week, probably,
Will I?
because we're gonna put. No, you're gonna be released on the 27th.
Boo. Do it early. Christmas special.
I'm already releasing an episode on the 25th.
What? Who?
An online episode. I don't know who.
Boo.
You want to be released on the 25th?
I want to be special. And not special needs.
I'll see what I can do.
Trickster. He has did this.
You know, just because you're whispering into the mic, I can hear every single word you say. So, Rachel, you haven't been talking for the last minute. At least I haven't heard you.
I think you're done, didn't
Maybe a final topic that we can.
Boo.
Well, I mean,
Final topic.
we're gonna spin out, but I just want to have it like try to have sort of a.
I've been talking all out of order. My brain doesn't work in a line. It works in like scattered leaves.
No, I know, and that's fine, but I'm just always trying to put a line
I don't
into
even
it.
get what we were talking about. We've just been talking about like random stuff in my life, and then a lot of army talk, ski talk, obviously, best type of talk.
Exactly. And regarding the ski talk, I don't know if you said it today, yes, but Japan.
This is such a fake conversation. Sorry, what?
Japan.
Japan, that place I'm going.
Tell us about Japan. Why is it so cool? And like sincerely, because I heard a lot of people talk about Japan, and it sounds like it is just a great country. Like
It's got a lot of pros.
I have heard good things about Japan.
I'm glad. It's a great country, very beautiful, very varied landscape. Because I went there originally in the winter of 22. When you say something like that, it makes it sound a lot more dramatic than it is. In the winter of 2022.
Right.
Yeah. You know, very movie-ish. Anyway, so I went there in
Very
2022.
epic.
What?
Very epic.
Hey, like that musical I like. Check it out. It's by like Jorge Riviera. He's like this American guy. He's on YouTube. Jorge, sponsor this thing. He couldn't sponsor us. He's releasing his album for free. He's super dope.
Oh,
Anyway,
nice.
Japan. Japan's nickname in the ski world is Japao because it's very famous for its powder.
Mm,
I was aware of this and I thought I knew how to handle powder. And then I
right.
went to Japan and I experienced my first Japanese winter. And there was snow taller than me.
Mhm.
It was amazingly fluffy. So if you don't know how to ski on powder, you will not have a good time. But if you're a beginner learning in Japan, it's very forgiving when you fall. And
Right.
luckily, if you are going to Japan, you are surrounded by people who have more than likely skied it before and can give you plenty of tips. For example, me. Check me out. My name's Rachael Grundy. I'm working at Kiroro Mountain this year. I know I just gave away my last name, but I just realized I can promote
You
myself.
can. You
I'm
can
great.
promote
Who wouldn't
yourself.
want to hang out with? So yeah, you learn how to ski on powder, but you've got to be aware there's pros and there's risks. The pros is Japan. Okay. You get surrounded by everybody loves Japanese food. Okay,
Yeah.
as a plus. They have really good hearty meals for winter. They've got amazingly fresh snow. If you go during peak season, you get fresh powder every day. It's
Mm,
great. The cons are if you don't know what you're doing, you will not have a good time. And there's dangers to skiing, especially off piste, if you don't know what you're doing and you're just chasing the snow. So if you're just chasing the snow with no clue in your head, you could end up in a place where you have to either walk out of or B, you won't be able to walk out of. We've lost plenty of experienced skiers who have gone off into the mountains and got themselves in situations, be it they fell into a river that was under the snow or they
mm,
fell down a tree well. You know what a tree well is?
no.
Okay, so kind of science, but I don't really science. Say there's a tree and it's snowing, powder, powder, powder.
Yeah.
But around the base of the tree, you'll find like there's a little gap, like a well.
Yeah.
But because there's still snow coming in, sometimes it will pack some on top, but it won't be compact underneath.
Oh.
And remember how I said there's snow taller than me? So say if this finger's me, and then you get snow up to there,
But you fall down.
you fall down, you
Mm,
can't get out, or you
right.
suffocate. That's only if you go off piste. Don't go off piste, you'll be right.
But just something I heard from the ski instructors here, they say that's where all the fun is. I'm not trying to promote it, but I'm saying like a lot of people do these kind of things, right?
Yeah, I'm one of them. But I don't go out alone because I'm very fond of myself.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of what I'm doing.
Right.
If you're going to go off piste skiing, you've got to be able to ski on black runs.
Mm,
Even if you're just on the edge of a slope, peeking into the powder, you can still get hurt. I'm doing this as a precaution because I've had many people go to the visits and they've had a shit time off piste. It is so much fun. I would never tell somebody not to do it if I knew how they could ski. If I knew how they could ski and I go, don't go, I mean, don't go. The
yeah.
powder is amazing. It's incredible. You'll have the best time. It's so fluffy and fun and you'll laugh the entire day because you're in that type of You know when you're a kid and you have a snow globe and you shake it for the first
Mm,
time and you get to see all the snow falling around you?
yeah.
It's that feeling in your chest all day.
Mm.
And it's beautiful. But there's too much of a good thing in some cases if you don't know how to ski it. Or wait until you're with a really good instructor like Rachel Grundy and she will take you. I'll take you off piste if I think you can handle it. If I don't think you'll handle it, I won't take you because I don't want to do the paperwork if you get hurt or die. Which is fair. I didn't become a ski instructor for the paperwork. I came there
Definitely
because
not.
it's a thing I like and I get to be outside a lot.
But no, that's actually a interesting thing as well, because we discovered or we learned how you grew to love skiing. But how nice is it to bring that thing to other people? I heard that passion in you
Ah,
just there. So,
I love teaching beginners, like first time skiers, if they're willing to laugh at themselves. If you're one of those people that can't laugh when you fall over, you're not gonna have a good time with skiing. And if you can't laugh, I'll either make you laugh or you'll quit.
that's right.
Skiing is a sport which I want everybody to love. Some people aren't gonna love it. It
Yeah.
happens. It's tragic and a part of me dies when I find out, but you gotta let people be people. But teaching beginners, especially in Japan, sometimes you get people who've never seen snow before.
Right.
And you're their first person, you're their introduction to snow. You're the first person they're going to meet. And you've got to be kind to them. But you've also got to be kind to yourself. Because again, like I said, you'll fall. You'll fall, we'll laugh, but you got to get back up with it. All right.
Right.
Like I remember there was this lovely lesson I got to do for a work friend who is called Eddie. His parents came to the hotel that I was employed to work at. And the boss was just like, we'll give him a private lesson. So Mama Eddie and Papa Eddie were in a lesson and they gave them me because I'm pretty good at like keeping things fun.
Hmm.
It's my priority in a lesson.
That is
Papa
very
Eddie
important.
was like the first one to give it a go. I got him on the skis, got him trying like the movement, trying to teach him how to stop, and he fell.
Yeah.
And he laughed. We all laughed at him. And we got him back up, and then he went, I'm not doing this again. And I was like, really? It was like, yeah. It was nice to try, but I'm good. I was like,
Okay.
okay. So Papa Eddie stood off to the side. Well, actually, no, he went and took his ski boots off because if you're not used to them, they're not fun to wear. You get
Yeah.
used to them, okay? And then they become like Cinderella shoes. But when you're first trying them on, you will hate them. Suck it up. So Papa Eddie went and changed his shoes, and then I focused on Mama Eddie. And I got to learn how to stop, and I got to take her on a ski lift for the first time.
Hmm.
And she said the most beautiful thing to me, which was, I feel like I'm in a Christmas movie.
Right.
This is a woman that's never seen snow.
Yeah.
And she got to ski an entire little bunny slope.
Right.
I'm like, that's just teaching adults. Adults know that, things happen, but they can put more control into their act. Teaching kids is so funny because they've got the energy, but for like 5 minutes and then they need a nap. So you get them going for as much as you can. You get them to teach as much as you can, but then they're going to want to play. But then they'll done playing, go back to ski, play again, go back to ski. Whenever they're on skis, you're shoving knowledge in their head. Whenever they're off skis, you make sure they're enjoying the snow and they're warm enough. If a kid gets cold, they're not going to have fun. He won't want to do it again.
Right.
Also, it's really funny because kids like to play fight and stuff.
Yeah.
And when you wear the ski suit, it doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. They can't tell. Okay? You're genderless, which is fine. So I've got like these little Asian kids like punching at my legs going, gonna get you. And I'm going to go, ha, you don't know how to like fight in a helmet. Give them a little push, they go down, they cannot get back up. They're like little turtles. It's great. Teaching kids is such fun. Like teaching adults is a different type of fun because you can be a bit rude and crude,
Yeah.
Rude, crude, keep them like happy, jolly, talk about the stuff. Because sometimes you're taking these adults away from their kids.
Hmm.
And it's the first time that they get to learn something in a while where they don't have to be constantly looking at the kid. So it might be their first time learning something new in
Right.
15 years, however old the child is. And they forget how fun it is to learn something new and then like slowly get good at it. Whereas the kids, everything they learn is new. Everything new is what they learn. I don't know, some type of
I think you
expression.
nailed it the first time.
Probably. I don't know. I'm not really listening to what I'm saying. So they'll just go and they'll try something and they'll find what they like. But yeah, it's getting them to focus on tasks. is like the point. So you'll make everything a game. And with adults, you can make them play the kids' games and they'll just laugh about it. I love to play red light, green light with adults, especially if we're under a list, because they're all just laughing at themselves. So I play the Squid Game version for the adults and I shoot them when
You
they
shoot them.
Yes. It's either a snowball or, depending on how cold my hands are. My hands are cold. I don't want to touch the snow. I just do bang, bang. Whoever has the most points at the bottom gets to buy everyone else a pint.
Nice.
Except it's an all-inclusive hotel, so the pints are free. We like this. And I also get a pint.
No, that's a good way. But I actually just thought about, because I mean, we were talking about it, but then I realized, I guess it is kind of unusual for adults to really learn something completely new. Because especially, well, I don't know, because
As soon as you leave school, you think, okay, like be it college, university, high school, apprenticeship, tradesman job, you learn what you need to do to be an adult and then you're done.
Yeah, pretty much.
So to get the opportunity to learn something, I think people forget that their brain needs to like try and learn something new. Otherwise it stagnates.
Yeah.
It's been proven. It's why people do Sudokus and crosswords and stuff. Keeps their mind active enough that they don't get dementia. Depressing thought, but ignore that. But skiing is not like anything else you'll do in the world. You can't compare it to water skiing. You can't compare snowboarding to surfing because it's completely different body action. And if you're not around mountains, and if you're not around snow, it's not something you get to do. So you're back in class, fresh baby, and you can't compare this to anything else you've done in life, especially because we put big old chunky boots on your feet.
Yeah. That's and I also used to ski when I was younger. But that was always the thing the snowboarders said. It's like, we have cooler shoes. Like, our shoes aren't as
Don't be
chunky.
saying that. My fella's on the same tangent. So I ski quite well and I snowboard very baby because I'm trying to learn so I can get dual qualified.
Right.
More hours to teach when I'm back here in New Zealand. And the shoes for snowboard are a lot more comfortable, but the way you move your body is a lot more effort. Skiing, as soon as you get the basics, you can be a bit lazy with it. Okay? They say that skiing's easier to learn but harder to master because there's a lot more to skiing. Once you get your foundation, just slow little improvements over the years. Snowboarding, hard to learn because there's a lot to like get in, and it's just your entire body. You get amazing core strength from snowboarding.
Right.
But once you get the basics, you can do anything with it, really. Yeah.
So
pick your poison, really.
Yeah, it's pretty much just whatever you. I mean, when we were kids, because that's the last time I actively. And when was the last time I skied? I don't know, when I was 22 or something.
When you were kids? That's not you. When you were younger. When you were a kid, I'm thinking you were like, I don't know, 11 on a school trip.
No, like.
You're 29.
Yes.
9? Yeah. You're a year older than me.
Yes.
Ancient. Yeah. So
that's not even the whole year, bro.
Absolutely ancient. You're 7 years ago, okay, that you last skied.
No, I was thinking about teenager when I said kid.
Oh, wait, can we get sued? Copyrighted?
Well, if we sing it as shit as we are, probably they won't.
Excuse you?
I'm talking about myself.
You better be, bitch. You're made and baby like me.
That's definitely the point where people will stop listening.
Oh, my voice is a gift and you're lucky to have it. My mum sings like an angel, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She could totally win like one of them Britain's Got Talent's X Factor thing, but she doesn't do it. She's got a beautiful voice.
I enjoy singing. I don't know if people enjoy listening to me, but I
know I don't, but that's just in general. I don't enjoy listening to you.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's why you agreed to come on.
That's why I'm fleeing the country. I just told you about Japan in winter. Are you bothered about it in summer?
Yes.
It's hot.
Actually, is it really hot?
It's the land of the rising sun, so I probably should have figured that out. But no, it's hot. Like, there's a reason why the Japanese wear like the face mask and the big hats, and they walk around with parasols, and they'll have gloves going up to their
Right.
because
Right.
the sun is aggressive.
Mm.
And I fucked up a little because I only brought winter clothes. I had to buy
Mm.
a little bit of a new wardrobe. But Japanese clothes and European clothes quite different. I prefer like a V-neck shirt. They're very proper, so they've got like a little oval.
Mm.
And I went through most of the prefectures in Japan actually. Like checked it all out. If I didn't stay there, I went through it on a bus tour. So I went from
Mm.
north to south. And
Right.
how can I say this? It's all the same, but with their own regional twist. Like, of course, the north side's very similar, south side's very similar, and then they've got the southern island, which is pretty much like Japan's version of Hawaii.
Oh, that
Yeah.
sounds interesting.
So from I fucked up when I went, I timed it wrong, and I went there during like their rainy season, so I didn't get to
Mm.
swim with the turtles, which I'm quite disappointed at. But also, I'm not a great swimmer, so I probably shouldn't have done it anyway. But yeah, so the regions all have their own personality, their own little quirk, but you can definitely tell they're the same family, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
And they've got different ramen broths in every prefecture. I tried them all. I got very full.
Is that apart from sushi, like the most famous thing about Japanese cuisine is the ramen,
No
right?
matter where you go, there'll be ramen on a menu with on that street.
Right.
Ah, it's great because I actually knew how to read the word ramen in kanji. Hiragana. Japanese have 3 alphabets, all of them suck.
Yeah, I know
Hiragana,
that kind of,
katakana, and kanji.
which one is the one that they use for like modern English words? Because
Hiragana.
they invented that just to like be able to
Just
say.
modernize it. And then kanji's their more Mandarin aspects of it, and then
Mm,
katakana is like alphabet.
right.
The kanji for loud, to make it to turn it into woman, you just write it 3 times. You know, rude.
Because it's very loud. I'm just trying to
Mikhail,
finish the thought that you started.
I was implying it. I was going to let the listener finish that thought. You don't have to say it out loud.
Loud, loud, loud.
It was probably a man.
Uh, um, yes.
Yes. So yeah, Japan, pretty dope. I'd go there. The people of Japan. Okay, old people, dope. All of them. Old women, the more than are the ones that are more like to speak English. Like cute little old ladies. I'll be like, oh, what are you doing here? I'm just like, ooh, how are you speaking in that tongue? I thought you were kept at home. Japanese wives, mothers, pretty dope. Teenagers, I like teenagers anywhere. Small children, oh my god. If I wasn't dating a Greek guy, I'd want a Japanese kid. They are so polite and so clean and
Yeah.
so like quiet. It's like the culture of how they're raised
Right.
just makes them so useful to have as a child, but also really self-sufficient. I wouldn't want my kid to be so self-sufficient though, because I want them to be able to like rely on me. But they like wander around in cities. They know where they're going.
Mm,
It's disturbing. Japanese men depends on like how exposed to the world they are. I think because going out in the countryside was fine because they were all like attached to the other person. They all just basically wondering why I was there. So I like to go to the places where tourists wouldn't normally go, just to have a look. Why not? Um, Hokkaido, great time with it. Southern Islands, you know where I said it was like Hawaii,
yeah.
great time with it. There's this one guy who I met, who I remember fondly now. I because it was raining all the time, I was inside a lot. I was trying to go out on walks, but it was very wet.
Yeah.
We sat inside eating sushi and drinking sake, like for days. He was great, loved him. As soon as I arrived in Tokyo, it was like the businessmen. They were creepy. No, I got followed.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I had a guy at the end of my bed once screaming because I was in a hostel, and I got shit scared. So I like called it hostel
That's
management.
actually creepy.
Yeah, I refused to go back to Minato in Tokyo because they have different like prefectures in it. Bleh. I loved China. The reason why I went to Manila because they have Chinatown there.
Mm.
I wanted to see what Chinatown was like in Japan, and what happened was I fell down a flight of steps and bruised my ass on marble. Oh, it hurt. Um, they had a Pokemon event going on. I got to I loved Chinatown, but I had an awful time with the men in Tokyo. So I got moved to a different hotel, and they still followed me around. It was weird. Didn't like it. But besides that, I had a great time.
Well, it sounds like again the theme of cities. Just
Yeah.
does something to people, to human beings, to be like
Well,
weird.
the thing is about staying in Tokyo as well as a woman. I was looking for hostels because I'm broke,
Mm.
and because Tokyo is like a business center, a lot of their hostels are male only.
Oh, sure.
So it's like a bunch of men packed in like sardines and they're loose on the streets. But I was like having to proper hunt and go out there to find female only hostels.
Well, that's a strange one. That's
Yeah, it's weird, but
you don't
like
really have that in any other country, do you? Like male only
you get
hostels.
female only
Yeah,
because,
exactly.
men suck. But
No, but I heard about that. But yeah, I've never heard about like male only
because they're
hostels.
business. The thing is though, they were quite nice because they had like massage chairs and like
Mm.
onsens on site. So finish your meeting, you need a massage, finish the meeting, go relax in the hot bath. Oop, hiccup. I wanted a hot bath. Just rude.
Yeah, they should just make them. Yeah, that's weird because massages are good for everyone.
Mm.
And
Thai massage, maybe. Arr.
yeah, I'm not gonna say my thoughts anymore.
Why? Is it because of something that you said earlier that I could bring up? Yeah, it's okay. We all have our thing. I just mouthed something at Mike because you're wondering why we're laughing. We're not just being weird.
Maybe we are.
Don't drag me into your hole. I was weird without you.
Uh,
We need to finish on a positive, though. We can't finish on creepy Tokyo men.
Okay, what can I ask you that
What haven't you? What
inspires?
do you want to know?
Well, I kind of feel like we did actually a quite good job of exploring your journey. Like we've been
We
through,
skipped Germany.
we did skip Germany.
We
Well,
didn't talk about any relationships, but I'm fine with that.
no, but I mean, we got a good overview. Like growing up, we had the army thing. We had cool stories from there. We had like the
I've got cool stories about everywhere.
coming back to England kind of thing. We had the
Interacting with
transition.
normal teenagers.
We had the transition to skiing instructor. We yeah, feel
Taught
like,
school a bit. Didn't really talk about the police stuff, but I'm happy with
oh
that.
yeah, true. But
Did it
that's
for
fine.
did it for 7 years. Was quite good at it, and then after COVID, didn't want to anymore. Ta-da!
No, that's actually fine. We had a good natural conversation. We don't need to force the police topic into that.
No,
Um,
coming to New Zealand, meeting you. That was part of my journey.
true.
A very good part of my journey. So, oh yeah, this can lead into the whole ski thing. So, as most of the world knows, we have 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, winter.
Mm,
And on the other side of the world, they'll be in the opposite. So I'd have a hard time getting a job in Europe due to the whole Brexit thing. So I've been mainly working out in Japan.
mm.
I am a bit of a dummy. I did not think anywhere in the Southern Hemisphere you could ski. Like South America, you can ski in Argentina. There's a place in Africa you can ski. Australia, you can, but you definitely shouldn't. Oh my God. Your snow sounds horrendous. I will never teach there. Ugh.
Never. Where is the skiing resorts in Australia?
Nowhere worth talking about. I promote
Fair.
nothing. Google it and suffer.
That's fair.
Okay. But there's New Zealand, who I kind of forgot existed for a bit because it's out of the way and doesn't come up in my life. The only time I think about it is Lord of the Rings, which is,
Right.
clear. So me and that guy that I'm relatively fond of / in love with, were like, okay, let's stay together this summer. And I was just like, summer job, warm. And then
Mm,
I was thinking Greece because, that's where he's from. And I'm trying
yeah.
to learn that language, unfortunately. And I was like, it's going to be really hot and filled with bugs. But then winter in New Zealand. I had no
Yeah.
idea about what the snow was like, where to ski, anything like that. And he went, let's apply for jobs in these places. So that's how I wound up here. I got my job very last minute. So I can come here on a work holiday visa. Yay,
Yeah.
British pride for once. But he had to get sponsored. So he got sponsored and
Mm.
I heard nothing about my job application. I was like, it's okay. I can go across the work holiday and I can get a job in town if I can't teach.
Right.
Got it like a week before we were due to fly.
Oh shit.
I know. Got my visa approved even less time than that. And yeah, came out here. We had some friends here already, but we got to meet a bunch of lovely new people.
So you already knew some people in town actually here in Queenstown?
Yeah, you met them on my birthday.
I didn't. 'Cause I
No,
was
you
working.
didn't because you didn't show up.
Because I was working.
It's just in my heart, you're always there. Um, yeah, so you ditched my birthday party. You didn't get to meet my friend.
Remember, positive note,
Oh, positive. I saw Moana 2 today with one of those friends.
right?
Loved that movie. I've got so many spoilers. Should I spoil it? Should I ruin the movie? Should I make a child
It's
cry?
quite recent. I don't think you should. I mean, I don't care. I'm not going to watch the movie, but it's so recent of a movie.
Fine, I'll be sensible. What was I saying? Yeah, so we had some people who we knew
Yeah.
existed in Queenstown. I remembered that New Zealand was a real place. And we came out like a month early. So we were like trying to live as cheap as possible.
Mm,
We found a nice little rental place. And it was our first time for me and my partner to live together without being in a hotel.
right.
And I got to have access to a kitchen because in Japan we don't cook because we get provided for by the hotel. Which, nice, free food. And it turns out that British cooking is very different than Greek cooking. Like,
Can imagine that.
yeah, I never thought that what I cooked could be classed as bland. But it's like, the whole stereotype about England. Oh, their food's so bland, they don't know what spices are. Apparently, we fucking don't.
But Greek, on the other hand, they use a lot of spices.
Yeah,
Like, it's very true.
so I was using more than I normally did. I got to try new cooking styles and some new recipes and things.
Yeah.
I tried cooking this like proper Greek dish for some friends. We were doing like a hosting a dinner.
Mm.
And I was very nervous about it because Miltos asked me to cook something, and I was like, okay, I'll cook it. And then I had no idea what it looked like, what it tasted like,
Appreciate.
how long I needed to spend cooking it.
Right.
And then I remember at one point I was doing it. He was like, are you okay? Do you need help? I was like, I've got no idea. It looks about right. And he was just like, what do you mean? I was like, well, I don't know what it's meant to taste like. And he went, oh, yeah. Didn't occur to him because I'd never had it before.
All right. He was just like, oh, she's going to make the.
She's making this thing that I like. And I'm just like, this is not a childhood dish for me.
Yes.
My mum's a great cook. This is not what's on my normal menu. But it was good because we got to like grow as a couple and learn like how to live together in an actual house. And we got to come to New Zealand, and New Zealand is beautiful. I'm sure you've had other people talk about it. But I'll talk about flying in and looking at snowy mountains and going, yay, snow. I
Yeah.
get to be on that. It reminds me a lot of Scotland, but taller. I've said that to my family back home.
Mm.
Queenstown in particular reminds me of like a newer Fort William.
Right.
You know?
I don't
Yeah.
know where Fort William is, but I suppose it's in the Highlands somewhere.
Hey, at least you know what the Highlands is. Okay. But yeah, it's a beautiful country, and there was a fair bit of snow. Like,
Yeah.
not as much as Japan, obviously. But like, I was happy with it. I don't know why other people complain. I'm just like, yay, snow, bugs are dead, everything's great. And I got to meet really great people here. And hopefully my ski instructor reputation in New Zealand is quite well. I heard quite positive things, good reviews. Yay, yay, yay. Rachael Grundy for ski instructor. Queenstown will be at Coronet and Remax next season. Sorry, frog in my throat.
That's all good.
And yeah, I just had a really good time. And I'm a bit sad to see it end because there's such a good team here where we are.
We do have a pretty good year.
We do. It's pretty dope. And of course, you're all going to miss me very much because I'm the glue that holds this team together.
I know about that last part where we're definitely going to miss you. How?
For those of you not in this linen cupboard at the minute, I just kicked Mike underneath the chair.
No, but that's actually funny how we ended up there, but that's a good way to
wrap it up.
To wrap it up,
Instead of Tokyo Pervert Man, we'll talk about how pretty Queenstown is and how great of an instructor I am for those of you who want your kids to learn from me next season. We'll be here June till October, probably. I don't know.
so yeah, it won't be a
They
goodbye
do need-
forever.
Definitely not, but I'm going to mention this and then maybe we can do a petition. Here's what we need. We
Yes.
need the New Zealand government to acknowledge that climate change has changed when winter is in this country. Your winter doesn't start until a lot later and it finishes a lot... it finishes a lot later than you'd think. There was a lot of snow on the mountain when my last day. I could have had like an extra 3 weeks maybe, if I'm being optimistic. In which case, that's 3 more weeks where I could have been teaching you.
But that's actually a discussion, because I know the same thing about German and Austrian skiing things. Like, they just kept the dates how they've always been.
Kept them, yeah, there needs to be a bit of an appraisal into like when winter really is now. Because ever since we invented the steam train, we have changed the world. Well, the weather world, and probably other stuff as well.
Good job with the positive note.
Good trains. Shush. Queenstown, pretty. Yay. I got to go on a boat the other day.
Oh, yeah, the jet boat.
Yeah, you've been on it. You went on it with Carol. I went on it with Chrisu.
That almost sounds similar.
His name's Chris. I just call him
Chrisu.
Chrisu. Yeah, it's his Japanese name. I adopted him.
And you also...
His mother.
Almost died a couple of days ago. You barely survived.
Oh, yeah. You want me to talk about that now?
You don't want to?
I could. New Zealand, famous for the place that bungee jumping was born due to A.J. Hackett. The company of A.J. Hackett, is it Hackett?
Hackett, yeah.
Yeah. The company of A.J. Hackett has invented a slingshot. A human slingshot. Now, when I was but a wee young girl, I got a frightening. And I got this frightening because I fell out of a ski lift. Which traumatized me a little bit, so I've got a fear of falling. So when I'm on a ski lift and it stops, I pee a little. So when I had the opportunity to go bungee jumping for free, I thought, yay, I love free stuff. And also, bungee jumping can be expensive, so if I can get away with not paying, I'll do it. But they're not allowed to push you off the ledge for bungee jumping.
Yeah.
And I went, if I had to jump from my own volition, maybe. I would not jump. And I did not want to be that pussy. So, I read up on this other thing they offered, which was a slingshot. And I thought, okay, so let's do a slingshot. Because they tie you in, they pick you up, and they launch you. It'll be harder to say no.
Yeah.
So I was doing it with Shay. Shay, who's super lovely. She wasn't doing a slingshot. She was doing a swing because it looked less violent, and I wanted violence, obviously. Showed up, slept a little bit on the bus on the way there, because that's how I am. Shay didn't mind. She got to look around Queenstown.
It's quite a ride. You have to go like 40 minutes until you're there.
Yeah, it's the same as if I was going to work on the mountain at Coronado Max.
Oh, yeah.
Nap time every morning. It's great. And then maybe a second nap in the staff room. So we got there. It was really giddy. Got strapped into all my equipment. And I was like, oh, wow, this is a lot of stuff. And then it got to standing on the ledge. And I went, ooh, I don't want to be here. I said that to Ollie at AJ Hackett. He was in charge of the bungee that day. Ollie and Sam. They're really nice guys. We like them. But I had fear. They're like, oh, I don't want to be here. And they went, it's okay, let's just stand here and take a couple breaths. Why don't you have a look? I was like, nope. Fucking look at that, will make it a hell of a lot worse. But eventually they strapped me into the thing and they were just like, we're just going to strap you in for safety and then we're going to talk. And I was like, okay. So they were calming me down and I got calmer, which is good. And then they went, we're just going to lift you up now. I was just like, I don't remember agreeing to go. But I got lifted and I just kind of went, okay. And he went, no, strap hands in here. I was like, okay. No, it's just like, okay, we're going to pull you out now. So it pulls you forward. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I was just like, okay, but I'm going to close my eyes because I'm not going to look down. And they went, yeah, that's fine. And we had some pictures took. And then everyone was like, oh my God, you're so brave. And I was like, it was just like, do you want to count down or do you want a surprise? I was like, no, you tell me everything that's happening. And they went, okay, look to your right, take pictures. I looked to your right. I faked a very, very smile. And then I was like, okay, I had my clothes looking down. He went, okay, it's going to be on 3. And then I remember I can't remember if it was Sam or a random guy went, open your eyes. And I went, no, fuck off. 3, 2, 1, launch. I screamed. The rush, the excitement, such fun. And then came to the end, and then you were bouncing. But the worst point for me is, when you bounce gravity and shit, so the rope went slack sometimes?
Yeah.
That felt a little bit like free falling.
Yeah.
Bounce, 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 and okay, made it. I survived, then I did something cool. I was like, okay, but they're going to pull me up now. Open my eyes. Oh, fuck. Because they have to, like, raise you up to the barrier.
Yeah.
So I just looked up and down, and nobody knew except for you. The ground was really far away, and the ramp was really far away, and then the rope made a creaky noise, and I got a wee bit scared, so I may have pissed myself a little. And then, yeah, I started to comfort myself. I hummed. So I've got a fear of needles and a fear of falling. So when I'm afraid, I hum the Harry Potter tune specific. So no tears, like enjoying the little bounce. So because I closed my eyes and I was like, I'm on a swing. I'm having a great time. But I had to remind myself I was having fun. So as I was being raised up, I went, whee! Which is what everybody on the platform heard. And I just heard them burst out laughing. Because there was me just going, whee! As I was hanging to myself. And the bit which most people love is the video that you've seen is when they get me high. And they're like, hi, Rachel, how you doing? I was like, yeah, I'm great. I had fun. I promise. Get me on the barrier. They were just laughing at me. And he was just like, okay, I'm going to pull you in backwards. And you hear me make like a really demented squawk. And then I grabbed the back of Ollie. And then as soon as I had my other hand free, that was also on the front of Ollie. So I was clutching this man as he was unstrapping me. But I had a great time. And then I just really wanted to get off the platform because the platform was like high off the ground and it was going off the edge so you could look into the gully. But Shay took a video of me, so I had to do the same back. So I was taking pictures and taking videos. I remember I couldn't watch people drop on, the swing.
Yeah.
Because I know there was a rope there holding it, but it looked like they were just dropping into the ether.
Yeah, there's a freefall part to the beginning of the swing. Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, I'll take this video for you, Shay. And I was holding the video and I was just like, I can't watch her drop. So I turned my head away and I just kind of moved the camera in what I thought was where she'd be. And if you look at the footage, I take a really lovely video of the bar that, holds, protects me from falling off the edge.
Right.
And I was just like, I really hope I got something. You can hear me say that. But like the platform was like, because it was like normal thing, normal shaking. I was just like, I don't want to be here. But I would 100% recommend doing it, especially if Ollie and Sam are working, because they're really nice at calming you down. But fuck me, that was that was scary fun.
I mean, that's supposed to be scary, but it's.
Well, you did a bungee, man.
I did a bungee.
You did a bungee at the Nevis, so it was the same place I did. If I ever do a bungee, it's going to be a lot shorter. I'm going to be strapped to that guy I'm in love with, and there's going to be water at the bottom. There was no water at the bottom of yours.
No.
There was that river, though.
There was a very shallow river, yeah.
Yeah, dunk your head in that.
You definitely died. But it was so. I was also weird because I wasn't that fearful. I just was very eager to jump. But it was
This is what convinces me you're a robot, Mr. German man.
It was so peaceful down there,
Fuck off.
Just nature, hear the river run. That
was really nice. And what was even better was after I got launched into the sun, we went and got a Magnum ice cream. I sat in some beanbags, played some hockey sack. You know the beanbags? The hacky sack? Did they not have that out?
Well, they actually rushed us off pretty quick after the experience. No, it was just the bus was leaving in 3 minutes, and they were like, if you want to be on that bus.
Well, that sounds like you rushed yourself. You could have stayed.
For 45 minutes.
You could have stayed.
Yeah, true.
You could have, enjoyed nature. I don't know. Whatever you'd like to do.
Enjoying nature is definitely one of those things.
Yeah, it's the only thing I listed.
But
you could have talked to a stranger. Had a on-site interview here at the Nevis thing. Yeah. You know it's called the Ben Nevis, yeah?
Yes.
Ben Nevis, which is in Scotland.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, they stole the name.
I actually didn't know that.
It's the tallest point in all the UK. Ben Nevis.
Oh.
Ta-da.
You think they knew that?
Yes.
You think they did it on purpose?
I would like to remind you that New Zealand was originally belonging to the Maori people who tried it very well. But then there's, the thing that England's really known for that people get mad about?
The colonization thing.
Yeah, that thing. They did that. So they don't want to think of new names.
So they just take the stuff from back home.
It's the same in Australia and in America.
Mm.
New York?
Yeah.
The city of York is the closest town to me. And they just called it New because it's all shiny.
Right.
And conspiracy.
No, there is actually, I can't think of an example right now because why should I? But there is cities in the States that actually sound very, I think they have Nottingham and stuff like that.
Nottingham's in southern England.
Yeah.
You're saying Nottingham. You're being posh. Nottingham.
Speak
like a northerner.
Nottingham.
Yeah. You kind of like...
Just no H, Nottingham.
Yeah, you drop H's and A's and stuff. Water bottle. Bottle of water.
Yeah,
that's what everyone's like. Say bottle of water. Say bottle of water.
Bottle of water.
I have a speech impediment, so I learned how to pronunciate. It's only when I'm being lazy. Or I'm tired.
But we will wrap this up. I'm gonna have to go golfing in 25 minutes.
Golfing?
With Fats and Quinn. Yeah, we're going golfing.
Fun.
So,
are you any good at golf?
I used to practice a little bit when we were studying. I never.
He's no good at golf.
Yeah, I'm not that great.
I was on a school team.
Oh, really?
I wasn't good, but I was on a school team.
That's fair. Yeah, we never played like too many actual holes. We just always went to the driving range and just like chilled there. Yeah. But no, I'm looking forward to play here in Queenstown. But because of that, and because I already took a lot of your time, but I appreciate the bungee story. That was really cool.
I think that's
to
a nice
your
thing to finish on.
Experience with the people and see how if you combat your fear, good things can happen.
Yeah, that's just what I'm saying. Sometimes you can get even more traumatized.
Thank you for that positive note.
You're very welcome.
But yeah, so thank you, Rachael.
I've given you a lot to work with.
It definitely was very entertaining.
It's
but
also be one of your best audios ever.
It might actually be. I'm not even joking.
You're so lucky to have me. That was a really shit high five there.
And yeah, very sad for you to leave in 3 days.
Maybe we'll see each other again in some part of the world and you can get an update on what I'm up to.
Yeah, you never know in life.
I don't do goodbyes. I'm an army kid. We travel everywhere. I had a friend named Sophie who I encountered in 3 different countries. I did not know that, but it was good. There's no such thing as a real goodbye unless somebody dies. In which case, rude. You could have said you didn't want to meet up.
They just evade you. Forever.
They evade me permanently. But don't worry, when I die, I will get them on the other side. Unless they're in hell. Because I'm a great person, so I'm obviously going up. Obviously.
That's what I said, obviously.
I didn't believe your face.
Rachael, it was a lot of fun.
Michael, it was a lot of fun. Thank you for being here today. You really
Those are my words.
I know. Okay, I'll let you do your wrap up thing.
No, that's it.
That's it?
Honestly, thank you for doing it. And yeah, I would just say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, people.
Bye, people.
I'll talk to you again, probably, maybe.